My husband and I struggled with infertility since we got married. It wasn't working. I had fertility issues, he had fertility issues. We couldn't figure out what the problem was. So we did IVF here and it worked the first time I got pregnant. A very healthy pregnancy, and then I lost the baby in my 9th month.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's pretty much my story.
Hey guys, welcome to Biz Insider. I'm your host, Adi Vaknane, and today I have the beautiful Haddasa Manela, where I got to know her personally through an event that we kind of collabed on. But I did get to know her personally and found the most fascinating person, which to me had a personal connection with things that I also went through. And so today we're doing something a little different than I normally do. It's not just strictly business, it's also personal and professional. So Hadassa, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, so we're gonna get into some personal questions in the beginning, just so you guys can kind of get the foundation of what we're getting into today. Hadassa, tell me about yourself. How old are you? What's going on with you? How long have you been married? All that good stuff.
So I'm turning 29 in a month, and I've been married for 9 years.
Oh,
yeah.
Got married young.
Yeah, very young. I was 19. My husband was 21.
Wow.
Crazy.
Why so young? Like, was it
It was a shoulda.
Okay.
Just kind of the way it went. But I think it's a little crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's part of our
Culture.
Yeah. So
I think it's a very positive part of the culture. Like, some people from other cultures might think it's crazy, but nowadays we don't really know what we're looking for.
It's true. Young and dumb is really nice. I did not know what I wanted, and it ended up working out for me. So I'm very happy.
Good, thank God.
Yeah, my husband's great.
What does he do? What do you do?
He runs a bunch of nursing homes in Orlando.
Okay.
We together decided to open up a chapter of Bonum in Florida, which we'll get into later.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what we do. I used to do hair.
Really?
Yeah. I was full-on hairstylist. I did weddings for many years.
And
I stopped just to give more time to Bonei.
Amazing. Yeah. And this is more of like a nonprofit, and it's just your dedication to it?
Yeah,
or?
It's a nonprofit. I don't make any money off of it. We just donate our time, and my husband gives whatever extra time he has to the cause.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful. Okay, good.
Yeah.
So I decided to bring Hadassa because I had heard her story on another platform that you were on. I don't remember what it was, who interviewed you, but I feel like you guys told your story, like your more personal story.
Yeah, many times.
And I connected to it because I had somewhat of a similar story. And yeah, so I just kind of feel like we become more of like a community because nobody else understands what you're going through rather than somebody else who does.
Yeah.
So I decided to bring Hadassa on here because I also believe that it's such a beautiful thing to be able to help people that cannot financially afford to do treatments. So today we're going to be talking about infertility, the hardships with them personally, how she got into helping others be able to afford it, because it's, I think, one of the biggest reasons why some people don't move forward with it.
Yeah.
It's such a financial burden, and it's not for everybody. So tell me a little bit about Bonei Olam.
So Bonei Olam is an organization dedicated to funding fertility treatments for those in need. And, we also give guidance to those who can afford fertility treatments. We're also there to help secondary infertility, which means those struggling to have their second child.
Okay.
We help singles who want to freeze their eggs so that they can preserve their fertility.
I didn't know that. That's beautiful.
We do a lot. We help cancer patients also freeze their eggs before they start cancer treatment. There's honestly a whole long list of things.
Wow.
But these are the main things that we focus on.
And you know what? That's something that I knew that it helps like couples, but I didn't know about people that are single and, going through, because it's very expensive.
What? They're going to call us in a few years.
100%.
They're going to need help. So we may as well help them now,
right?
Before they're
with freezing the eggs, which is a very big process.
Yeah, it's the same.
I have a friend that her husband had to, because he was going through cancer treatments.
Wow.
So he had to freeze just in case, in the future when they wanted to have children, it'll be viable and, possible.
Yeah.
So it's such a big thing, even for married couples that, God forbid, get sick and they need help, so.
Yeah.
Wow. So you got into Bonei Olam from a personal stance?
So kind of. My husband and I struggled with infertility since we got married. We couldn't, it wasn't working. I had fertility issues. He had fertility issues. We couldn't figure out what the problem was. It just wasn't working. And then I had a friend of mine who, she was struggling and she couldn't afford treatments. And I heard through the grapevine that she couldn't afford it. And we said, okay, but we've been donating to Bonei Olam for so many years. Why isn't Bonei Olam funding her treatments? It doesn't make sense.
Right.
Bonei Olam is this worldwide organization. How could it be?
Right.
So we started raising money on our own for her on the side. She had no idea. She still doesn't know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
beautiful.
so we were like, let's try to raise as much as we can to give her the best chance possible. One day, a friend of ours just sits down with Bonei Olam themselves, with Rabbi Bachner, the guy behind it all. And he says, what's the deal? Why aren't couples in Florida getting funded? He says, well, nobody in Florida is raising money for Florida, so there's not enough money.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, in Florida to fund these couples. So we said, this makes no sense. Florida is a thriving community. I mean, this was before COVID. We were still thriving. I'll get into that. We're a thriving community. There's so many wealthy people here. This is unacceptable. It can't be that hard to raise money, in my opinion. It was like, okay, we have maybe 10 couples a year that I would have to raise money for. That's $18,000 a treatment, $180,000. That would be the max I would have to raise. So I was like, we can do that. We can sit down with like 15 wealthy people and make it happen. Then COVID hit.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and everybody moved here, which, welcome. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
But that made us jump from 10 couples.
Very expensive kosher supermarkets.
Yes. And traffic. But they also donate. So,
okay, good.
You know what? They help a lot. And so went from 10 couples that we thought we would need to help to about 15.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was a huge jump. We had to start raising a lot more. We had to work a lot harder. And that's pretty much how I got into it.
So how do you raise money? So I know from my personal experience, when I went to 2 different doctors here, when you go, they also provide some sort of assistance, like financing or whatever. Like they tell you can finance it and all this stuff. Right. And they take you through the whole thing because it's extremely expensive. And I had no idea how to contact any organization. Not that, God forbid, we financially needed it, but when you sit down with the doctor, they scare you.
Yeah.
Like they tell you, listen, the first time it might not work out. You might have to do a second treatment, maybe a third, and each one is like $30,000. And I'm like, okay, but I'm going to need a stroller.
Right.
Where does it end? Like, how do you know, is it going to work? Is it not going to work? And they give you zero, certainty. They don't tell you it's going to work after the first time, or the chances are you have zero certainty. So you don't know what you're really getting into.
Right. Well, we can't give that certainty either.
No, but how do you know how much help you're going to be able to give?
Financially?
Yeah. We
try our best to give as much as we can for a couple to have their first child.
Okay.
So that also, it all depends on their financial status. We can't just give to every person
who
calls.
No, of course.
Yeah. So we always look into, their financial status, investments, and, their savings. We try not to dip into a couple savings too much.
Because everybody needs it, of course.
They
absolutely.
Need it. Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, after you have kids, it's
exactly. They're still going to need it afterwards.
The financial assistance stops once your kid is, your child arrives, and that's when things really start to become very expensive even more. So
yeah, well, we don't want to leave them stranded like that. So we still give, even if somebody has savings, and even if they do have a decent income, but we still have to be cautious.
So how do they know how to reach out to you?
Honestly, I think we're everywhere. I think there are some communities that people still don't know, or they're a little bit afraid to call us. Like the communities that aren't as religious seem to think that, we won't help them.
Gotcha.
Which I can't speak for every other chapter of Bonum, but I could speak for Florida because I run it. We help everybody.
Right. It doesn't matter if not financial, but it doesn't matter if you're religious or secular.
Yeah. Right. It doesn't matter. If you're a Jew and you have a rabbi who can say that you're a Jew, we will help.
Gotcha. Amazing.
Yeah.
So it is a very big mitzvah. So
thank you. Yes. I try.
You know what, I'll tell you, we went to 2 doctors here, and we got past the whole understanding that it was going to be such a big investment. And, we're like, okay, this is our tikkun in life and this is where we're going and it is what it is. And after we went to so many doctors, they're like, there's nothing we can do to help you. Maybe you guys should seek adoption. So we're like, are you serious? Like, nothing. They didn't even want to do our first IVF treatment. Like, they did testing, whatever. They're like, we can't find the actual cause. And, we don't really know how to tackle it. So they started giving us different, medication to take. And some things did harm more than they helped. And it was just like, my husband and I looked at each other after like 3 years. And we're like, nah, let's just take a break, whatever. It was also very stressful.
Yeah.
For a couple. And it's not fun to start your marriage like that.
No. You started right away?
No, we started a year after.
Okay.
Yeah. And then my parents moved to Israel. And I went to surprise my mom for her birthday. And I met some guy that, like, for business. And he asked me, he's like, oh, are you married? I said, yes. He's like, how long? I'm like, we're going on 3 years. And he goes, you don't have any children? I said, no. And Israel, they're very blunt. He's like, do you have problems?
Yeah.
Like, he could care less. Like, and I'm like, I mean, I guess, why? And he goes, well, I have the best doctor. You have to go see him. He's like, he's going to get you pregnant and you're going home pregnant. I'm like, okay. So I went and I took an appointment with him and he said to me, when are you coming back? And this was in July. And I said, we're coming back in September. And he goes, great. When you come back, we'll do the treatment and you'll go home pregnant. I'm like, you're so like sure of this? And he goes, yeah. He goes, there's no issues. Everything looks fine. He goes, you just need a little help. I'm like, okay. And we came back in September and I went back home. It was a 2-month process, like the extraction of the eggs and all that stuff. And then I came back pregnant with my son.
Wow. That's amazing.
But the best part was that Israel really helps with everything. So like,
right, it's covered,
so
right?
We paid nothing. Well, it's covered if you have insurance in Israel. So we're Israeli, but we don't live there. We don't work there. So you don't get the full benefits that they do. For them, it's completely free.
Right.
It's like 100 shekels for a doctor's appointment. And that's
crazy.
it. And then like for somebody who comes from the US, it's like $5,000. But again, it's nothing. Yeah. But you have to get, let's say if your parents don't live there, you have to get a hotel room. You have to be there for 2 months. You don't work for 2 months. So, there's give and take, but you're not so stressed out. You know what I mean? You kind of feel like you're going on vacation. So it's like a 50-50 thing. And, but thank God it helped us. And afterwards it didn't work again, but we have one miracle. So
it's amazing.
It's really, but I think, they say in the Jewish religion, Mishneh Makom, Mishneh Mazal. So when you do different places, sometimes you have better luck. I don't know.
I've done it in a few places. I haven't done it in Israel yet, though.
Try.
I did do. I had to go in for monitoring once when I was in Israel, and I was traumatized.
Oh no!
I was like, I can't go back there.
So they have different facilities. Like some facilities are private and some are public. The private ones are normal.
Much better. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about.
So, how did you start your whole infertility process?
So I started with just a regular gynecologist. Something's up. It's been a year. I don't know what's going on. Can we just test? We did the standard testing. Came back saying that my husband's sperm wasn't the best quality.
I feel like that's a very Jewish thing.
It's Jewish. It can also change every time they give birth.
Correct.
It's always different. Yeah. It's always different. And whatever. It was that's what came back. Nothing was wrong with me at the time.
Okay.
So we went to, I didn't want to waste time there. He put me on Clomid. Did you try Clomid?
No, they wanted to, but
okay. Yeah, it's a psycho. It makes you crazy. It made me crazy. So I jumped and went to a fertility clinic in Manhattan where we did.
Were you living there at the time?
I was living in New York at the time. Yeah. And where we did just an IUI. Did you do an IUI?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Waste of money.
Such a waste of money. I mean, it depends. I have plenty of
For
friends
some people it works, yes. But when you see that there's an issue.
Yeah.
But
he said, he's like, try it once. It probably won't work, but IVF will work. That's what he said to me.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, we'll do that. Then it was too hard. It was very emotionally draining, and I didn't want to do it in New York anymore. I wanted to be with family.
Did your family live here in Florida?
Yeah, they lived here.
I gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, so we came back here to do IVF with a different doctor.
Okay.
You know, who I heard of from the grapevine. I wish I knew about Bonei Olam.
Right.
It would have guided me in the right direction. I wouldn't have been going to, you know, multiple different doctors doing research on my own.
Yeah.
I don't know
it's so hard.
Yeah.
100%.
And so we did IVF.
And you were extremely young, and I'm sure you didn't really like open up about it to a lot of people at the time, or
I was very open about it, but nobody was. We're talking about, what year was this? 2021? No, sorry, 2017.
Okay.
Like nobody spoke about it. I don't know what changed.
There was
a shift.
Everybody's
I was one of the
very
few
open,
that spoke about it publicly, but
did your husband care?
No.
Did it bother him?
Not at all.
No.
Thank God.
Because usually a lot of people don't open up because one of the spouses is not comfortable talking about it. So, you know,
he didn't care. It was kind of a reality. So like, what are we gonna hide from it? It's not, you know, it's not my fault. It's just part of my life. So we did IVF here, and it worked the first time I got pregnant, and then, you know, it was a very, very healthy pregnancy, and then I lost the baby in my 9th month.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's pretty much my story.
And
I don't like to get, you know, so into the details.
Yeah.
But there was nothing wrong. Perfectly healthy baby. She was, 3 pounds, which is not healthy. But,
okay, yeah. But again, some kids are born 3 pounds.
Yeah.
Yes, it's not a...
But, you know, obviously something was wrong. But throughout the pregnancy, everything was totally fine.
Okay.
And then I tried to do IVF about 4 times after that. And then I said, I can't do this anymore.
It's hard.
It's hard, yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
And you did it with frozen embryos afterwards?
Yeah. We tried fresh. We tried frozen. we did a whole slew of it.
Yes.
So we kind of just look at each other and we're like, we need a break. So we took...
It's very time-consuming, energy-consuming, everything. It's like a full-time job.
You know, It's everything. You gain weight. You don't feel good about yourself. It's emotionally, I was crazy. Yeah. The medication made me crazy.
It's hormonal. There's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
It's not you.
Right. Which was even harder. I remember saying, I know I'm crazy. I don't know what to do.
Oh my God. No, it definitely changes you, and it changes everything about you. It can change your skin. It can change your hair. I mean, I lost all my hair, which is why I cut my hair.
I love you in short hair though.
But it was
so good.
It wasn't part of the plan. My hair, like after I gave birth to my son, actually, my hair was amazing. And then just afterwards, from doing more and more treatments, it just completely disappeared.
Yeah, it ruins you.
It does. It really does. It's a lot.
Great.
No.
Yeah, so now I'm just like dealing with a naturopath. We're trying to heal naturally.
Okay.
And hopefully that'll work. Hopefully I'll get pregnant naturally. If not, then I'll do IVF again. But
you know what? A lot of people, again, I don't know. I know you're saying you're open about it, but I mean, like, people always say, oh, when you least expect it, it comes. So don't be stressed out. It comes naturally. I'm like, all right. You got it. Whatever you say. Yeah. But I feel like also like in the Jewish culture, from the day you get married, are you pregnant? Right. Are you pregnant? So it's like, you don't have a choice.
No, but
you know?
even once you have one, they're like, okay, he needs a friend.
Yeah, he needs...
And the response is kind of like, okay,
there's nothing you can do. Yeah. No, I get a lot of the questions of, okay, he's 5, he's turning 6. When's the next one? I'm like, I'm going to Amazon. I'm going to search for the best one. I had a joke with my son one time, and he's like, Ima, you know, I really want a little brother. I'm like, great, let's go to Target. And he looked at me, he's like, what? I'm like, yes, where I bought you from. He's like, no way. And I'm like, I'm kidding. It's not that easy. It's not like hocus pocus, you know?
Yeah.
So it is what it is. But it's, I know a lot of people that even after they have their first 12 years, they don't have like another child. So there's no rules and there's no like, you know? And I don't know how spiritual you are, but I feel like obviously there's a reason for everything.
Yes.
And what you're doing with Bonei Olam, you might have not done it.
I wouldn't have done it. For sure not.
You know?
For sure
like,
would not have done it.
Look how many other women you've helped get pregnant and have babies, and thank God expand our Jewish nation.
Yeah, we're at already, I think, 56 babies since we started.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Do you visit all of them? Or no?
No, it's very, very private.
Is it?
Yeah, I actually don't even know majority of the couples that are getting help. Yeah, unless they reach out to me themselves.
Like directly. Has anyone ever reached out to you?
They have. They have. Sometimes they need me to like, give a little push for them to get a little more financial funding or to get them, a better counselor or whatever to get into another clinic.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I really don't know. I don't
What's been like the most rewarding part of everything? I mean, like I guess let's say one experience that really kind of like
was at one of our
resonates with you.
events. We have 2 events a year. This one, it happens to be they both bring in a lot of people, but this is our biggest event. It's the Knockouts, the volleyball tournament. And there was around 2,000 people there, and I was so overwhelmed. Everyone's trying to come over to me to talk to me. I'm like hiding in a corner because I'm not so like social. I'm very quiet. I'm reserved. I have a very hard time with these things. And somebody came up to me and whispered in my ear, I just want you to know that like, I think she showed me a picture of her baby. She's like, this is because of you. And I couldn't like,
oh my God.
Yeah. It made me feel like it's all worth it. I was like, okay, I can relax now. I can socialize.
Listen, it's a really big deal, like it's huge. So I'm going to ask you some of the questions that I kind of wanted to get into. When you look back at like everything, is there something that you would have done differently with the fertility treatments that you did? Like, would you have gone to like a different doctor or possibly like spoken to someone else to guide you through it?
Yeah, I for sure would have called Bonei Olam. I was embarrassed to call them because I didn't need them financially. So I felt like, how dare I waste their resources on me, which is so wrong.
Right.
And that's not
and
the
they
way
help
it is.
also just as far as like
they have a whole medical team, so they would have looked at my results and guided me to the right clinic. But it said they have better success rates with this problem that you have, or
so they know multiple clinics and they know who to go to.
Yeah, they study all the clinics. They check their success rates. Some success rates in certain clinics will be talking about certain age groups,
right?
And some are talking.
So you'll guide people to go towards that,
to the right one.
Wow, that's amazing.
So I would have called them for sure.
That's awesome. And who was like your number one support person throughout all this?
Nobody. I was very alone.
Really?
Yeah, I'm the oldest.
Okay.
I have like 6 siblings under me, and there's nobody. I didn't know anybody going through this. I had one person who did go through it. My aunt. But she passed away a couple years ago.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So she went through 8 years of infertility, and she finally had her son. So she definitely guided me in, how to deal with people. She's like a tough cookie.
Okay, good.
Yeah, she was great.
You have to be, especially with that.
Yeah, people are cool sometimes.
Very, very. Wow. And so you never you didn't have anyone like as far as like your like best girlfriends, like nobody was like.
Yeah, so I did. I spoke to my friends about it. I never felt like I had a few friends who I would speak to and confide in, but most people, they didn't understand. They had kids of their own. Everyone was having kids around me. It was a very hard time for me. I couldn't deal.
Did you feel left out? Like
I did, yeah. It was I isolated myself. They didn't even isolate me. I couldn't deal with it. Everyone's talking about their kids. They're talking about what they're buying their kids.
Right. And you're like,
that's all they spoke about that. I was like, I can't be part of this. I need to be on my own. So I definitely have, thank God, really good friends who don't, talk about that all day. But I had to learn how to deal with that and be around people who had kids.
Did you feel like there were people that didn't want to talk about like if they got pregnant next to you?
Yes.
How strange is that? Like you're some sort of like a disease.
Yeah, I don't know. They felt survival guilt.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, it's great. I'm not jealous of other people having kids. I do not want their kids.
Right.
I don't want that. I
ask from personal experiences. Like I know a lot of people when they get pregnant, they won't tell me till they're like 6 months. I'm like, why? I could have said Vishatova from the beginning. Like, why would you refrain from telling me? Like, I would have no idea. People that are very close to me, no idea. Like they would disappear for like a few months, like we wouldn't be that much in touch and whatever. And then all of a sudden, boop, I'm 8 months pregnant. I'm like, wow, that's great. Like what happened?
Like, why did you do that? Why did you have to isolate yourself?
But it's so like, I felt like it was more of like, don't tell Adi. Why? I don't know. For me, and I talk about this with my mom also. I'm like, Ima, like when other people have kids, I feel like I'm having a baby. I'm happy for them, like it's part of my joy, especially if it's people that are close to me.
Yeah.
I feel like it's like my heart is expanding, whether I'm giving birth or not. Just like when I have nieces and nephews, like for me, it's an extension of me, and like some people, they can't understand. And it's hard for them to kind of like,
well, not everybody's like you.
Yeah.
I was definitely not like you.
No?
No. I mean, now I am, but it took a lot of growth and a lot of work, but I was not. No, I could not deal.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a lot. It does take a lot of work. It does take a lot of, I'll tell you, it comes from, everybody has their own level of emunah. Like, I might not wear skirts all the time and this and that and be like ultra religious. But I do have like a lot of emunah, a lot of faith. And for me, I used to tell my mom, like, Mom, some girls every month, they have complete breakdowns. Like whenever it doesn't work or whatever. And every time I had a treatment that didn't work out, I was relieved. I don't know why.
What?
Like, I was like, oh, thank God. Like, just something inside of me. Like, I felt like it wasn't a healthy, embryo, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I had 2 miscarriages at 2 months each one. And I knew it wasn't going to work. Like inside, I felt like, no, it's not a good one.
Interesting.
Yeah,
wow.
I don't know, and I guess it just kind of put me in a perspective of, okay, cool. It is what it is. But I get it. It's not an easy process, and if you don't have a support group, that's why I asked you, did you have anybody like around you?
I did. I didn't respect a lot of people. I'm being completely honest. Are you the oldest?
No, I'm the youngest.
You're the youngest. Totally different.
Yeah.
So as an oldest, it's very hard to respect most people around you. You're raised to be the better person, to be the stronger one your whole life. And then when I wasn't, I'm like, hey, who am I looking at?
Right.
And I had nobody around me who had been through it, so I didn't really respect them.
I mean, I come from a family that I have one brother that has 6 daughters and the other one has 5 kids, 3 boys and 2 girls. So nobody understood me.
You get that.
But it was very but for me, again, I looked at my nieces and nephews all as extensions of me. Like for me, it's
I love them.
I care about them like they're my own babies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course.
My son asked me this morning, he's like, Ima, do you love me more than one of my nephews? And I'm like, you're my son, of course I love you. I'm like, but I love him too, like he's my nephew. What kind of question is that? But it's because really for me, it's just give me anybody's babies.
Well, and sometimes it's better because they go home.
Yes, exactly. And they cry for sure. Yeah, no, it's amazing. So what are your future goals with Bonei Olam? Like where do you plan on taking this?
You know what? It's funny. We actually scaled back this year. We decided to cancel one of our major events.
Mm-hmm. I saw you open a store.
They opened a store.
Okay.
It's incredible.
So how did all that happen with the vault and everything?
Oh my gosh. So the vault's been like a 3-year process. It takes about 8 months to plan each event, at least. Mm-hmm. And these 2 girls, Jen and Shayna, do you know that?
Yeah.
Coverage and Jupe. Mm-hmm. They decided to open up a store, and they had been vendors for the vault from day one.
Okay.
So we were just talking, and I'm like, guys, why don't you just take the vault name? I'm not doing the event this year. I know.
Tell me about the vault.
Oh, the vault.
In case,
okay. The vault is kind of a trade show. It's a Jewish trade show.
Okay.
But everybody's invited.
Mm-hmm.
So we have all different Jewish women, entrepreneurs, sales persons, all different types of businesses come to one place. And we set up a beautiful cafe, and everybody can shop, eat, have a good time.
You have like different activities and stuff like that, I saw.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there were some cute activities. We did like a punch wall one time where you donate $50 and you get to punch a hole in the wall. You get a prize. It's very cute.
You paid to let out aggression.
Yeah, exactly. It was really cute. We had about 90 vendors there this past year. Yeah. But
so you started where? Also because you did it where in the convention center?
We first did it in Aventura Chabad.
Okay.
Right here. Mm-hmm. And we had, I think, 30 vendors.
Okay.
It was packed. There was
the first year?
Yeah.
Wow.
The first year. It was crazy. The parking was insane. There was traffic. Literally, the police came to direct traffic. It was nuts.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. And then the second year, we did it in the convention center, in the Miami Airport Convention Center. And that we like doubled in size. We had about 80 vendors.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that was on the second year?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And this past year, which was the third year, we had about 95.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And it was, and about 1,800 attendees came. Like
That's insane.
It was wild. It was so nice.
So how does it benefit Bonei Olam? So the vendors come, they rent a space. Is that how it works?
They rent a space.
Okay.
And the people come and they give donations and they shop and they have a good time. We actually did not charge a percentage of sales.
Really?
Yeah. We're like, come, it's fine. Rent. I prefer that. I prefer if somebody gives me,
right.
a set amount of money, donate it, and then they can
okay.
sell and be free.
Okay, beautiful.
Yeah, they don't have to worry about anything afterwards.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but we were like a one-stop.
Yeah, I saw.
We set up your booth for you. We did everything. It was amazing. But this year we decided not to do it. It was too much work.
Why?
I needed a break.
Okay.
It's 8 months full time.
Right. But I feel like it was something that people were looking forward to every year. Yeah.
But it didn't raise so much money.
Okay.
And this past year, Knockout raised the same amount of money as what we need, to cover everything.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, they raised an extra, I think it was $200,000 this past year. Yeah, which was, unexpected.
Mm-hmm.
So thank God. And we said, you know what, let's take a break from the vault. That's pretty much how much we raise anyway.
Right.
And
okay.
Yeah.
So why did you transition it into a store, or what? How did
it wasn't
that come
part
about?
of the plan.
Okay.
I said we're not doing it. I was kind of sad about it. I didn't want the name The Vault to die out.
Right.
And then we were talking to Shayna and Jen, and they were asking me how they can go about opening the store, if I have any vendors I can recommend to them. And then they said, we don't know what to call it. And I was like, can you just call it The Vault?
So cute.
It'd be great. I didn't expect anything in return.
Right.
I was like, call it The Vault, use the name, have fun with it. Then The Vault will stay alive. They said, yeah, and we'll give 10% of sales.
Oh, that's so
nice.
Like,
what? Really? And they said, yeah. So they have tons of vendors coming in there. They do pop-ups at the store all the time.
I see. Yeah, I actually reached out to,
really?
to Jen. Yeah. I told her I might do a pop-up with the jewelry store.
Do it.
Yeah.
It's so fun there.
I pass by all the time as my son and my husband. They like the shawarma right next door.
Oh my gosh, I never tried it.
It's very good. It's very good. So when we go, I always pass by and look and see.
Yeah, it's a good vibe. It's a good
It's
store.
Really cute. I love it.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's fun. It's a cute experience, and the fact that you have different vendors coming through, it kind of still keeps the same momentum as the way you did it, just on a smaller scale.
Yeah.
And people can they do like events there sometimes?
Yeah, sometimes they do events there. It's very cute.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. And they have good success, I'm assuming?
Yeah. Thank God. We've been getting a lot of donations coming in from them.
Oh, that's awesome.
That means they're doing well.
Yes, good. Amazing. Good.
Yeah.
Perfect. So what's the future goals? So you're scaling back this year.
Yeah. We scaled back. And I don't know. I know that Knockout, we want to be very successful. We want to make it bigger.
What made you do that? Like, is that something that Bonei Olam does everywhere, or is this
what
you
was
guys
just
came
us.
up with?
Because I feel like the best way to raise money is to have people raise money for you.
Okay,
so,
true.
It's true. I mean, look at Bike for
Delegating.
Sure. Yeah. You know what Bike for High is?
No.
It's just another organization where they have a bike ride and they have like hundreds of cyclists raise money for them, and they're at
what's the organization for?
It's for children with cancer.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And other illnesses.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Amazing.
So they raised like $18 million. It's crazy.
Oh wow. Yeah. Okay. Well, God willing, it'll get to that.
So that's what we would like. I think my goal is to be able to help
as many people.
Yeah. Not just Florida.
Amazing. So, have you ever I know that you have, but what drove you to sharing your personal experience and everything you went through on different platforms? Like what?
Honestly, I had so many people looking at me wondering when I was going to get pregnant.
Okay.
And people just didn't know. And then people would say, oh, Bishatova, when I was looking fat.
Oh my God. That's the worst.
The worst. And I said, you know what? I'm sick and tired of this. Let me just tell everybody what's going on and then they'll leave me alone.
Right.
And they did. They left me alone, and then somehow I ended up helping people.
Okay, good. Yeah. Listen, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Do you ever think that you're going to go into work like in anything else, or strictly Bonei Olam?
For sure.
Yeah.
I want to. Oh my gosh. I have a hustle mentality. I can't sit still.
I know.
I have a little bit of.
I saw how organized you were, so.
Yeah, I'm very organized. I try to be very ahead of the game. I plan, 5 steps ahead.
Right.
But yeah, I definitely want to go into some sort of business.
What do you love to do?
I haven't figured it out yet.
No?
Nope.
Okay.
I haven't figured it out yet. But I do believe in myself.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like whatever I do, I'll put my whole heart into it and make it successful.
Okay.
But we'll see.
That's amazing. Yeah. Well, thank you so much
for
joining us on Biz Insider. remember her name, Haddasa. She's amazing. And Bonei Olam is such a beautiful organization. And I had to put it on here because for me, not that I was looking for financial assistance, but I know so many people need guidance, and not a lot of people have that helping hand and that person who will guide them and explain. And as Hadassa mentioned, they don't just help financially. They also help with guidance, and they help with counseling and things that sometimes we don't know where to look for. You know, we don't really know how to seek out for it. And I didn't know when I was going through everything. So for me, I kind of searched on Google, and sometimes you don't get the best feedback from Google.
Yeah.
Doesn't guide you in the right direction. But I was blessed to have a shaliach that decided to introduce me to a doctor, but not everybody has that in their life, you know?
Yeah.
And so, yes, Bonei Olam is an incredible organization, and for anybody seeking guidance,
Please reach out. We'll be happy to help.
she's your girl. Thank you guys for watching Biz Insider. I'm your host, Adi Vaknin, and we'll see you guys next time.